I'm Dawn from Fellowship of Games, and this is my husband, John.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're going to be talking about Dracula's Curse.
We're going to do a setup and overview of it. It's a Kickstarter that recently completed I got it about a week ago. And we just now we're getting a chance to really evaluate and look at it. I did an unboxing video. It's on our YouTube channel if you'd like to look at that. But we're just going to give a quick overview of the setup and the rules and go from there.
And we may do a playthrough. We'll just see how it goes. This is by, the publisher is Retro Plus Games, and the creator and developer is John Munink, spelled M-U-E-N-N-I-N-K. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. This is Dracula's board. All right, so we have a few key components. This is going to become Dracula's Keep. It's a little hard to see. The board is just dark. The artwork on it is dark because it's Dracula's castle, but there are some faint dotted lines, and even in person looking at it, they're very faint. But these are some rooms, and we're going to spend essence that Dracula obtains through the game to fill these out. So we've got different shapes. We have this rectangular shape. These are the main rooms, the main floor, and then we have
the corridors.
The corridors. Okay, these are the squares are the rooms, these are the corridors, and then up top are the spires. And basically we have to build Dracula's Keep, and that's going to make him, once this gets built, then the players can come into the keep and attack him.
And each room he builds gives him special powers.
Yes. And again, a little hard to see, but you can select, this is the hall, for example. When playing let me make sure I can read it. When playing a monster card in combat, you may use or activate this ability, and it costs an essence. So this ability is called Demon Will. So you could play a monster card. Dracula has allies that are monsters because they get trapped in his soul well. So this one lets him activate monsters. And then, all of these have an ability. Here's another one. This is called Shadowgate. And on the back it says shadows, these are Dracula's shadows. There's 4 of them. We'll talk about them in a minute. These 4 separate shadows. Shadows may move between rooms without doors. So this can happen 1 time per turn if I want to spend essence. And that's the Shadowgate. So they all have special abilities. Also, again, it's hard to see, but this room costs 1 essence. This has 2 sets of fangs, so it costs 2 essence. 1, 2, these are 3 up at the top. So anyway, but they're going to give Dracula powers. Another feature, this is Dracula's tracking board. Let me move the castle out of the way. So we talked about the castle, we talked about the rooms and the corridors and spires to build his keep. This board is called his keep. And then this is where he tracks his essence. So depending on the game play, he starts with 0 to, I think, 3 essence. And there's a little bat that I have misplaced that's his tracker. Here it is. Again, I'm going to put it there so you can see the little bat. Black on black is hard to see, but the bat moves across and tracks his essence. So this is his tracking board. Also, he will start with 5 hearts or life tokens. And let's see. And then on the back it talks about, over. And on the back it tells you how he can deploy his shadows. So 1 shadow's powers versus if he stacks and has 2 shadows stacked, they're more powerful and they can do different things. So this tells you what his shadows can do once he deploys those. But that's his essence tracker.
The shadows, the bottom. And on the shadows, just for reference, each one has a different bottom side. The tops all say, well, this one's got his picture.
That's the bottom.
They all say Dracula. And then you have the bottoms. And this one, when the Slayers find it, when they attack it, it flips over and reveals. And we did the symbol. This would be a curse on the Slayers. Dracula would get an essence. There would be a combat of the 3rd level. And then, but if we find this one, it hurts Dracula. Once you kill him, he loses a heart. And all his shadows go back to after Dracula himself, he goes back to his keep. In his next round, he can bring out this one again and any others that have been vanquished. But you always play them with the Dracula side up, so they're unknown to the player.
Player
which
can't
ones are
tell.
which.
And we'll talk about those a little bit more in a minute. Also, let's see, these are trap cards. And so these get put out. We just looked that
There's
up.
a room that allows us to put out traps.
One of these.
We're not 100% sure on all the traps, but we know there is a room that puts them out, and there may be other cards that do it as well.
It's one of these that he plays, lets him start putting out traps. And then traps go on the player board. Like this one is an essence eater. This trap activates the next time an essence is drawn. Gain 4 essence rather than 1. So this one, he's going to get extra essence. So he can put these traps out on the player board, and when a player comes in there, I don't know if they're on the player board or on the side. We'll have to see.
He puts them on his side when it activates. He says the traps.
Okay.
So we don't know when.
Yeah, and then let's see. Oh, because he knows the function, right? Okay. Wicked Infusion. This trap activates the next time an essence is drawn, card or room, gain 4 rather than 1. So similar to the last one. So these are traps that Dracula can use, that one of these cards lets him put these out. One of these cards lets him put out shadows, etc. So these are pretty powerful for the person playing Dracula. So we talked about traps. We gave you kind of an overview of the shadows. And you'll notice the shadows can stack and form Dracula. Well, I had it that way when I first set up, and now I messed up my picture. The shadows can stack and form an actual image of Dracula if you move them the right way. There we go. And so, again, Dracula's motivation, these are going to be moving around through the castle, and the players are going to try, if they find them, some help them, some kind of help Dracula. But if Dracula stacks these, they become powerful and he can use them to attack the players. However, if he creates his most, I guess,
that actually becomes bad.
The 4
Dracula.
shadow, he's more powerful. He can attack, let me just give you for instance. 1 shadow, when he enters the room, he might gain an ability. 2 shadows, he can play essence to reduce all adjacent players' starting movement. 3 shadows, he can move up to max movement through occupied rooms and each player loses a life. That's very powerful. 4 shadows, he can launch a fireball at a target. So they get more powerful, but when he's in his 4 stack form, the players can attack him and vanquish him. They don't have to go all the way up to that keep I showed you here. They don't have to find this room. They could attack his shadow instead. So there's pros and cons to the shadows for Dracula. So that's a little bit about Dracula's tracking board. And let's talk about the setup next, like to set up the actual deck. Dracula starts out with, and I moved it, the main staircase. He gets the main staircase. Here it is, grand staircase. Dracula gets the grand staircase. And these are main floor. The gold back is main floor. This is upstairs, and this is the underkeep, the blue. So Dracula will always get the grand staircase and his starting hand of tiles, and then Dracula will get to pick 1 more, and it's really hard to see on this artwork, but like this one is the infirmary. It has 3 doors, which would be good for Dracula moving shadows. It has a curse. It looks like a little blood drop. It has a curse on it, and then in the corner, you really can't see it, but there's a gold pentagram. And so this gold pentagram, if the player enters, this is the infirmary, for the first time, they're going to have to draw a curse card, and they're going to get the pentagram for the infirmary. So you'll see this is a supplement to the rules. This is the pentagram side for Dracula, and this is the pentagram side for the players. So on Dracula's card deck, which you see here, he has his own card deck. If they enter this infirmary room, Dracula will gain 1 life or 1, boy, that's really faint. I think it's a curse. So gain 1 life or cause them to get an additional curse, I think.
It's fantastic. Curses aren't fun in the game.
Infirmary, maybe that's for the player. We'll have to clarify that in the rules. Maybe that's not Dracula. Maybe the player gets a curse, but then they also because it's the infirmary, they also gain 1 life or 1 blood drop.
Okay.
That's what it is. So this is Dracula's deck, but I think roughly, the instructions said roughly 25% of the tiles and cards are good for the slayers / players, and 75% are good for Dracula. So just keep that in mind. So they're not all bad for the slayers. So this will be kind of both. They get a curse, but they also get 1 life or 1 blood. All right, so that tells you a little bit, and then Dracula gets to pick 1, and then he randomly gets 2 more. So, you know, you would take these and you would say, okay, here's my other one, and this becomes Dracula's starting hand. These 4 cards, and there are other acronyms on here. I mean, it's really hard to see gold on red. That would be a bit of a criticism, but anyway,
there's usually fighting, curses, essence, or strength,
mind,
body, or mind.
Yeah, and when you see the cards, you'll see them more clearly. But there's a picture on almost all of these. And if there's no picture, it's just a pass through. But it could be one of 5 or 6 different icons. So then after Dracula's got the grand staircase, he always starts with, he gets to pick 1 more. I picked this infirmary, even though actually that's kind of good for the players, but we'll pretend like whatever. I picked that one. And then here's a gallery that I drew randomly, and it has, the player gets to draw 1 mind, but they do have to have a 2nd level combat. And last but not least, I drew the sacrifice chamber. The player ends up in a pentagram, and the sacrifice chamber says, if you choose, you may trade 1 life for 2 blood. And we'll talk about the player side in a minute. Now, once Dracula has his starting hand, his or her, that's his starting hand. Now, these all get shuffled, okay? So,
just shuffle.
These are all going to get mixed up and shuffled and, you know, da-da-da-da. And then we're going to do this rough shuffle, which it's a very rough shuffle.
You get the idea.
And then, yeah. After we do that, we put our little castle out. So if I'm playing Dracula, here's my castle. And here are my tiles I'm going to draw from. And then here's my essence that I'm going to be tracking my health and what I can do with my little bat token. Here are the rooms I can build or buy, and on the back I can see what they do, because you notice I can only put out 3. There's 3 rectangular, so I may not, you know, decide to build all of these, but if I build them, you'll run out of time and you'll run out of money, but they all give you wonderful things, so, for Dracula. So anyway, these are all going to be sitting out there. Here's my bat to track the essence. Yeah, I'll do that next. And then I'm just showing the room. So Dracula's here. Dracula's got their starting deck, and the players, Dracula's, you're going to see in a minute when they play these, they go down. So the player's going to walk into this room not knowing what it is. Dracula's goal is he wants to hide this grand staircase, because the grand staircase is how they're going to get upstairs, and upstairs is where they're going to actually finally get to this keep where they can kill him. So you want to try to hide this from the players or slayers as long as possible.
But you only have 4 turns that it has to come out.
After 4 turns, you have to place it after 4?
Within the top 4, the staircase has to come out. And then that's when Dracula's shadows will appear up in the castles.
You have to put I knew you had to put the shadows out. I didn't know the staircase had to come out.
When the staircase comes out, that triggers the shadows coming out.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so then these are monster cards. So we talked about combat, and I will say the rules are a bit tricky. We've read through the rules. We've watched the company's complete playthrough, and then we read the facts.
Yes.
And so we're trying our best, and we've played a lot of games in our time, so I think we're doing a pretty good job, but they're a little tricky.
He's coming out with a 2nd edition book because this book needs help. I mean, he did a good job, but the fact, you have to read the fact with it explains a lot of other situations.
So he's probably going to combine them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so these cards, just to show you the art on this, This is a medium level combat. This is a 3rd level combat.
In the first.
Let me look at the term. There might be an actual term. And
Tier.
then a
think-
tier,
yeah.
first tier.
First tier, second tier.
First tier, second tier. Okay, is that what it is? All right.
Yeah.
First tier would be 1 sword. Second tier would be 2, and then 3rd tier would have the shield behind it. And when you look at these cards, when they come out, these cards, there's a picture on it, and even some of the other cards, and it will have one of these 3 images. So you'll actually see which one you're going to get. But when it starts out in this combat deck, we have monsters they're going to fight. Like the skeleton archer, it's a level 1. It's only 2 to defeat. Marionette's only 3 to defeat. That's not very many.
That's the essence. It's the small number above that.
Yeah. And then this Hydra is more, and it says you have to defeat it twice. Oh, that's the essence. I see what you're saying. Oh, the combat's above it. It's okay. It's hard to see on these cards. So that's the monster's essence that Dracula would get from his soul well. Above it, tinier, which again, hard to see. It's a little bitty shield. The Hydra's actually 13. The Marionette is 11 to defeat. The Skeleton Archer is 9 to defeat. So that's their defense. So anyway, but Dracula has a special deck. Notice these have a silver border on them. Dracula has this red deck, and it has this red border. And these are beefed up. Like this is a Deathclaw. It has...
These are the boss monsters.
1 essence, but 19 to kill it. And then this Malachi, 14 to kill it. If player is defeated in combat, they are instantly killed regardless of remaining life. So that's pretty powerful. So let's say I pick that one, and this is a Devil Toad. 15 defense, 3 essence, toad or blood toad toll. At combat start, the Devil Toad steals all the player's equipped weapons. So those are the 2 I'm going to pick. There's a Minotaur, a Wolf, a Soul Warden, and a Deathclaw.
If you look on the back of the cards, there's 2 for each tier level of combat. The of course the lower ones are easier to defeat.
The medium ones.
So you part of Dracula's strategy is picking out, do I want to fight them with these boss monsters early or later? That's kind of the decision on Dracula's part. I don't know what's better or worse, but that's how those come in.
And he only gets to pick 2. So I've picked my 2 as setting up for Dracula, and then they get shuffled into this deck. So they get shuffled in with everything else. So I'm just going to insert them, and then I'm going to do a shuffle on them, John.
Just do a quick shuffle.
John's going to do a quick shuffle. All right, so now I'm set up to play Dracula. Oops, there's one more that I missed. He's going to shuffle that.
Right.
Other thing we missed, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hearts or life. Is that what he's calling his tokens?
5 hearts.
5. Does he call them hearts or life or?
Doesn't matter. Life.
Well, I mean, I want to use his terminology. Life. He calls these life, and the blood drops are blood. Okay, blood points. So these are life. So those are, and they're red. They're a nice, heavy little crystal in the shape of a heart.
I do like the hearts.
Yeah. And then again, this is the tracker, and you can't really see it, but the bat, black on black is hard to see, but the bat goes right over the 0.
And each round, Dracula gains an essence as well.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. We'll do the board here in a sec. Yeah. But this is his basic setup for whoever's playing Dracula. And as complex as it is, I mean, we did a rough playthrough. We've looked at the board, studied it a couple of times, and then we read the rules, read the facts, and did one rough, I'm talking with my hands up here, one rough playthrough. And I would really recommend that one person play Dracula.
Well, only one person can play Dracula.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you know how sometimes you'll be like, oh, I can be the bad guy and a player character.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have enough people. This says
It does have a solo player set of rules.
Yeah.
We're not going over those just yet. They're
No.
called the dojo.
The Blood Dojo is the single player, but it says 2 to 6 players, but the publisher said, he says 4 players would be the optimal for the slayers, but always add 1 for Dracula. So John's exactly right. So whatever, if it says like if we say we're playing a 2-player game, it's really a 3-player game because somebody really needs to play Dracula. I wouldn't
Yeah.
merge it because there's a lot of strategy, and I think it would kind of ruin it because really it would just be you playing that one other player. So
Yeah.
I would go with the manufacturer's or the publisher's guidelines when they say 4. I would do 5.
We're going to record a playthrough later, but since there's just 3 of us, two people are going to run 2 Slayers each.
And I think that would be okay to play
Yeah.
2 Slayers each to get the quota right to make
Yeah.
it. And what we found, we did a 3-player. One, Alan played Dracula, and John and I played a Slayer each, the Wessons. And what we found was you really couldn't get the tiles out quick enough on the player board, so it was problematic. All right, so with that said, I'm going to swap gears here. I'm going to move Dracula off to the side, and we're going to look at the Slayers next. All right, so now let's talk about the Slayers. We've got several here. Let me move this over. So one thing I'll say, the colors, they're dark, but their artwork is fantastic. So if you look at these cards, they're really nice. Notice the vampire teeth. That's really cool. These are
Your subclasses.
Subclasses you can attach, and they attach nicely. So the artwork is premium. The mechanic, that's really pretty cool. You have to purchase these, but that's really cool. But let's talk about these. So we have 7 Slayer options, which we're showing here. And then you'll notice this one is Van Wesson, and he was, I think, a Texas Ranger. He has a armor class or
attack rating
of 5, and then he has a movement of 3. And his special ability is draw any card. If you choose, you may discard and draw from a different deck. So whenever we draw these cards in a little bit, you'll see this one would be movement, this is might, this is mind. As we draw those, he can draw any one of them, and if he doesn't really care for it, he can discard it and draw again from any deck. So that's a great ability. Also, he has a synergy that says Born Leader +2 for adjacent allies.
He adds a 2 to adjacent allies' attack rating.
So, and that helped me in our playthrough the other night. So anyway, he has this special ability, and we'll talk about all of these. But when you flip it over, when he goes to 0 life, he flips over, and now he's undead. So when that happens, he has a little different, you'll notice the card changes. And there are special rules for that we'll talk about here in a little bit, but his attack rating goes up to 7, movement goes up to 4, and then discard a card to increase your movement by 3 or boost your life or blood by 3 during combat. This ability can be used without limit, so he changes a little.
And also their subclasses flip over as well with them.
And his, that's a good point. So his subclasses that he can purchase, he can be a marshal, and that gives him the steady hand ability. For 1 life, he gets +4 to combat. So his life point, blood point. For 1 blood point, he can get a +4 to his attack rating. So he has special abilities. There's 2 on every one of these subclasses, and they go with a character, so they're in keeping with the character. So for Van Wesson, the Ranger, he's got a Ranger ability, a Martial ability, and a Strategist ability. But to John's point, when it flips over to the other side, now he becomes Iron Blood, and he becomes Night Blood, and he becomes, basically you become a vampire, Witch Blood. And so that one that gave him the +1 to attack is the Marshal, the steady hand. Now his premium one, he gets a plus to his attack. So these abilities change too. So these are dual-sided again. Really, I think they're really nicely made.
Components are really good.
A lot of variability here. So we said if they want you to play 4 for a good game, basically your deck would come out because this is a builder. You're building rooms, kind of like if you've ever played Betrayal or House on Haunted.
Yeah, Betrayal House Haunted Hill is patterned after that. I think this and Castlevania mixed together. And so I think that's where the 4, and also you'd have more synergies to help each other, because we played just 2 of us, and we played Jess Wesson and Van Wesson. Now she's a doctor and a scientist.
She had her synergy, or her special power is if you are drawing mind cards, which these have spells in them. So she can draw one at the start of her turn, and she can discard the first and draw a second if she doesn't like it. So that's her kind of special ability. She's got an armor rating of 4, not bad, movement of 3, and synergy, scientific method, draw a card after an adjacent ally wins combat. Now you do have a max hand of 5 cards, but you can also discard cards at the beginning or end of your
cards.
Yes, you transmute at the beginning or end of your turn.
Basically, on your turn, at the end of your turn, you can transmute your card. Like if you know you're going to have too many, you can transmute them into blood drops, and you use blood drops to actually buy your classes.
These subclasses. Yeah. The subclasses cost 3 blood points, 5 blood points for the second, and 7 blood points for the third per player. So they cost quite a bit.
And the one Slayer that is different is the Raiden character. He's from the future or something, but like he doesn't actually turn to vampire. If he gets killed, he's just out of the game. He disappears. But the rest of them will flip over to become a vampire as well.
And if you read, let's talk about Raiden. So we talked about the Van Wessens, and their backstory is they're married and they kind of run around, killing vampires together, I guess. Raiden is he's different because for a few reasons, like John said, if you read his flavor text, it says he's actually Jameson Marks from the future, and we'll talk about these other 4 here in a sec. But Raiden, it says he may be a vampire. Is he? So word on the street is he is a vampire. So he's already undead. And if you look at the color, it's hard to see, but these are beige. When they turn into a vampire, they flip to this concrete gray. And so Raiden starts out concrete gray. He has a very high attack rating. He has 4 movement. His special ability, no card draw at the start of your turn. Instead, you start with one card and 2 life, and you gain 2 life for each combat. His synergy is vengeance, gain a +1 if adjacent to an ally. And then he's the only one that starts out with all of these special, he gets all 3 of his special subclasses at once. Yeah. So he starts out that way, but then to John's point, if he goes down to 0 life and he flips, he's out of the game. There's nothing. So keep that in mind if you play Raiden. He's pretty powerful, but when he's gone, he doesn't get a second chance. And we'll talk about the second chance here in a minute. All right, so the rest of these guys, Jameson Marks, kind of a cowboy guy. He's got 3 movement. He's got 5 attack rating. And then he is young and handsome, it says. They all have like a little flavor text with their backstory. And there's also, in the rule book, there are pages dedicated to them. If you want to grab that up there, John, and find that page, you can tell them.
It's the back.
He starts with 1 might and 1 movement and 1 life point. And I'm going to say this, these life points, they're almost like a bead. They're hard to hold on to. I'll put it this way, I like these better than these.
Yeah. They actually look cool, but they're small and hard to pick up.
They're hard to grab, yeah. But he starts with 1, I'll put it there, you can see
blood point.
How tiny it is compared to the life tokens, how teeny weeny it is. But anyway, yeah.
But she was talking about the page, like each character's got a story in the book.
They've got their backstory, and they're pretty cool. So yeah, let's see, what was Jameson? What is he? He is young, brash, full of bravado. Jameson will disarm you with his young, handsome face. Before you realize your mistake, you're already dead. So he's kind of a gunslinger kind of guy. And then I told you what he starts with. His synergy is bandolier. When Jameson or an adjacent ally play 2 plus cards in combat, so if any adjacent ally or him play 2 cards, you will draw a card or gain 1 blood point after combat ends. So he's pretty powerful, and he also has the flip side, just like the others. And then Mason Stone, he looked pretty beefed up. What is his flavor text?
I'll show you the flavor.
The definition of brute force. Mason is an honorable and loyal companion. You'd be wise not to anger him. He's from France. So he looks kind of like a cavalier. And so he starts with 1 blood point. I think he's the only... No, he starts with 1. So if you look at these...
Mason is the one who starts with the signature ability slot.
Oh, he does. He also... Okay.
We're still trying to figure out the rules on the signature abilities. You have... Each character has like... they can carry a weapon, a body armor, boots, a helmet. And then there's the signature slot. We'll explain more about that. But we're not sure how you get those yet. But he starts with 1, and that allows you to keep a card in your hand and always get to use it.
We actually have some questions out to the
developer.
The developer, yeah, to try to get answers that we came across as we did our first playthrough. But he's also the only one that, other than Jameson, that starts with a blood point, and you can hold the signature attack card, and then his synergy is chivalry. When an adjacent ally plays a might in combat, he gets a +2. So he's pretty powerful. So John and I were playing Jess and Van Wessen, and then I just thought, oh, that'd be cute. They're married, we're married, whatever. But then when I looked at these, I'm like, these guys are pretty OP. Like, I would mind, he's got 6 armor class. I mean, he's hands and feet, to me, tougher than her. Of course, she's got that plus to the brains and the spells, but we looked and we counted through this whole deck.
I think there were 7 spells.
Which is a pretty big deck. I mean, that's a pretty, there's a lot in this deck. We only found 7 spells, so I don't think she's... I would rather be him than her, I'll just say that. Or him than him. Because they get more, like he starts with so much more than him. He gets to draw any card, but I think starting with you start with 2 cards and a blood point, and he starts with a blood point. I think that's better than being able to go through the deck.
I think he's better because if he draws a card, he can look at it, goes, well, I don't want this one. He can pick a different one. Says, okay, this one's better. Then discard the other one.
I mean, we can agree to disagree,
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm thinking I'd rather start out with more.
Yeah. I agree with her. Though.
Yeah. Let's see about Yuriko. So Yuriko has the least armor rating, and her flavor text is she's supposed to be Dracula's daughter. So Yuriko Asa starts with 3 cards of any type and a blood token. So she's pretty stacked. She gets 3 of any type. So she could have tons of movement. She could have tons of
She's got the most movement out of the bat with 5.
Yeah, and she's got the most movement. Yeah, she can move 5. So she can run away. And since her attack's lower, you could start with 3 attack. And she can already move. So, her synergy, royal favor, player of your choice within synergy range automatically passes a room challenge. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Synergy range, from what we can determine, is actually adjacent.
Yeah.
In the room or adjacent.
And of course, she also has her 3 subclasses she has to buy. And I won't read all of these, but they're in keeping, like samurai, assassin, and princess. So it gives you hints into their character, kind of. And the last one we haven't talked about is Damon Dante. Can you flip that back open? Because it gives you this flavor text in a bold paragraph. Thank you. How Damon came to attain his intense fortune, no one knows. Whatever his intentions, he has taken it upon himself to aid and protect his friend Yuriko. So these 2 are also kind of a pair. And this guy also, he gets to start the game with 1 blood point and 2 cards. And he gives an additional blood point to a slayer of his choice. So if we're going to play 2 and 2, honestly, I think we already did a playthrough with the Van Wessens. I think we should try these 4. Because I think they're just more powerful and they start out with more. Now again, he's the opposite of Yuriko. He's got high armor class and low movement. So they kind of complement each other. And then where did I put his special abilities? He's got Royal Guard, Fencer, and Socialite. So he's like a Bruce Wayne kind of guy. Sort of. All right, so those are the players. They have these nice tokens, and we'll see in a minute. Each one of them has a token So they have their face on it, so you can use these to move around the castle. And we were saying these aren't really meeples, they're more of an actual token.
It's a great debate. I'm
Yeah.
like they're token, and Al's like, no, they're meeples. So we had a debate about that one.
Yes, we did. So this is him, that's her. Okay, so those are their tokens versus meeples. You choose. And then John said this came with the Kickstarter.
Yeah. That may be in the retail version. I think the retail and the Kickstarter are the same version. But I actually had to look.
We didn't know what they were for, yeah.
But they're an easy way to track your armor rating. Because as you get equipment, like your helmet adds 1 to it, or 2, depending on it, then your weapons, you just go ahead and lay this down, put a blood point on it, and it just kind of tracks. So you don't have to go through and add your map.
So like Jameson's armor class is 5. I mean, you could put anything on it. It didn't really come with a token for this. We just said you could use any token. I'm using a blood point, but he's a 5. Then he finds an item, say a hat, that gives him a +2. Then now he starts at a 7. Then he finds a pair of boots or a weapon that gives him 2 more. He goes to a 9. So he's starting at a 9. So then that's his base. Then if he has a modifier, like he's got a synergy with somebody else, he knows he goes up to, or you could use a second one to see where you slide, or you play cards. So we think that's what this is for. Oh, you said that is what it's for. He confirmed it. Okay, so there's enough of those too. It came with a whole stack of them.
Yeah, it should be 1 for every player.
Yeah, it did. It came with 1, at least these 7. So, all right. So that is the player deck. So that now we're going to show you the actual board. We talked about Dracula.
We haven't talked about the cards yet.
Well, no, that's the board. Yeah,
Oh.
we're going to talk about that next year. Sorry, I have an agenda in my head and I didn't explain it to you.
All right, that's fine.
As I do. You know, when you get married, this happens. All right, so we're going to pull these guys off. We're going to pick just for kicks. Let's pick, you want to be the Van Wessens again, just for, since we've played them already. All right, you be Van, I'll be Jess. We got Dracula over here. And we're just going to set up the actual, show you how, like play a hand and show you kind of how it plays. All right, so you can see the rest of the cards. All right, so now we are back and we are looking at the player board. So we have our characters. He's got Van Wessen, I've got Jess Wessen, I've got Dracula off to the side. And the way it starts, the player to the left of Dracula goes first, and then you would go all the way around and Dracula always goes last, or Dracula always goes last. So this is the starting piece. These are the entry rooms, the main hall, yep. And this Underground Crossroads is a blue card, and it always comes out, and it is in a locked position right now. And I'm going to read you what it says right off of the rule book. This is on page 4. Unlocking the Underground. When the game begins, the Underground Crossroads room here is locked. In order to unlock the room to easily access the castle starting piece, which is right here, players will have to explore the underground rooms, and there is a blue door, so this is locked, so technically they can't get in here yet, right? But there's a blue door here. Again, it's really faint to see on these cards. You really have to have a bright light on and be on top of it to see this is blue on black. It's a hard color combo. But anyway, blue would be, like we said earlier, again, a little hard to see. These are black. These are
red.
No, but I mean the color on the bottom. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The black on the bottom is a red or upstairs room. The gold is the main floor, and then these are blue. Well, it's got a glare. These are blue, and so these would be underground. So we could go ahead, if you look at this starting piece, yellow or gold, that's blocked. Gold. So we have 4 gold doors, and then we have 1 blue door you can't see. So anyway, back to this. It says we can explore down here, and when the players can explore underground, when they explore the crypt, so we would have to scroll through this deck, this blue deck running around down here until we came out with the crypt. When we find the crypt, then this unlocks, and then we can easily run back into the castle. Until then, you would just, the way John and I interpreted it, and I think Alan interpreted it a little differently, so we're probably going to ask the developer. The way Alan interpreted it was, once you go down here, you can't get back in the castle until you find the crypt card. You're kind of stuck down here. But the way this reads, when they explore down under, let me read it again. When a player explores the crypt, the underground crossroad is unlocked, revealing its top door and allowing players to freely traverse from the castle back. So the way I was taking it was, you could run around down here, but you'd have to backtrack to get back in. This door, you can still come back in this door is how I took it. But he took it as, interpreted it as, you'd have to find the crypt to get back in. So we're going to ask, because I could see that either way. All right, so with that said, let's do some turn orders. So here's Dracula. I'm to Dracula's left, so I'll be Jess Wesson. The first thing I'm going to do is draw a card. And she's already got 3 movement. But I think, yeah, Dracula hasn't put anything out yet. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So Jessica can draw cards.
Oh, we have to place our tokens first.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And you can start anywheres in this building you want.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So just
Where
for
am
purposes,
I?
I'll start here.
Okay, yeah. So I'll start here. So she can move 3. So she's going to go... Oh, wait, but no, wait. The very first thing you do is draw a card. We kept messing that up. Since she can draw an extra mind, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw mind. Prophecy. Spend 1 blood point and draw 2 cards of your choice. Not compatible with any other card draw modifiers. So Prophecy, pretty good card. I'm going to go ahead at the end of my turn. I might transmute this. We'll see. I'm not going to spend it right now, of course. I don't have any blood points because she doesn't start with any. All right, but technically I could discard that and draw the next one if I wanted to. All right, so now at the beginning of my turn, I draw a card. The next thing I'm going to do is move. I'm going to move 1, and this is a gold door, so I draw, oh, thank you, John, gold card. And let's take a peek at it. So in the corner, this is a outer cloister, so it has 4 doors, so it's a good movement card. And you can see the font on that is kind of this tiny cursive. Again, these cards are beautiful, but they're
They
just
could have gone
little,
up about 3 points in the font. And
yeah,
much better.
yeah, it would be easier to read. And then this is the tiny little blood or blood point.
No, it's a curse.
No, it's, oh, curse. Oh, he's right. It's a curse. Ooh, you're right. I drew a curse. All right, so I enter the outer chamber because there's an event on here. Can't see it. A curse. Mm-hmm. Now I have to stop. I can't go any further. And now I have to draw a curse. Let's see what I got. Unjust spirit. I give and receive no synergy. The curse may be removed in the inner cloister. Well, luckily I'm in the outer, I'm in the outer cloister. So now I'm going to have to find the inner cloister. Until then I can't use my synergy. So I'm cursed. So I'm going to add this down here. As an ongoing curse. And at the end of my turn, so you can take, as it says for the turn order, excuse me, you can take as many actions as you like, but there's really nothing else I can do. So at the end of my turn, I can transmute an item or trait at the beginning or end of my turn to get a blood point. I'm going to discard that and get a blood point.
And one thing, and I'm pretty sure this is accurate, like it says she needs to find the inner cloister. Since it is in a gold writing, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the middle floor. I think they did color code the floors to the tiles, so that way we know where to look for it.
Yeah, roughly. The rest of it is, it's kind of hard to see, but that writing there is gold.
Okay, now it's going to go to me. I want to explain the cards just a little bit. Mind is usually magic or trickery is kind of a magic, or not a magic deck, but it's got magic, more mental, like trickery stuff. The items here tend to have more items or movement bonuses, just a lot of pluses to your attack rating. These are the strength. they tend to add a lot of just like one-time attack powers. And almost every card, unless it's equipment, is a one-time use. Even spells, unless it goes to a signature slot. But these are usually like either a quick hit, like a +5 to a combat, or they're items in all of them, so they're a little bit kind of scattered. But that's kind of roughly what they do. So I'm here. I have I need to draw my card first. So I'm going to do Might. I pulled a Cursed Sword. You must equip so I have to. While equipped, no card draw at the start of the turn. Remove curse at the library and discard. Well, luckily I'm going to use my ability. It says draw a card. If you choose, you may discard and draw from a different deck. So I'm going to go ahead. Well, it's kind of a rules question, but I'm going to say that I can use my ability and discard that. We'll debate that later. So now I'm just going to get one from a different deck using my ability. Ooh, and I've got Winged Sprinter Boots. They add 1 to my armor rating, and I'm not sure what that is. I can't quite see.
Let's see. You get a +1 to your armor rating and a +2 to movement.
Oh, okay, cool.
And winged sprinters.
That makes sense. So I'll place it here.
Nice.
And one thing we did notice in the upper right, because like if you get certain
And
rooms,
you're kind of off the board, so
oh, sorry.
yeah, scoot your little guy up. Yeah, there you go.
Is the in the upper right of each card, you see what type of card it is, and that will come into play later, because maybe here in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and use my movement of 3, 4, 5. So I'll go 1, 2. Pull this out, and it's a nest, but there's a combat in it, so that's kind of fortuitous. It's not really good for me, but we'll go from there. So it's got a orange symbol. If it's white, that means it may be optional. There'll be it's an event, and you look up. It could be persistent or it could be optional. But since this is a tier 2, we pull off the tier 2 card. Say we'll go if the card had been just
A tier 1.
a tier 1.
Go till you found a tier 1. Yeah.
You would flip through. You'd draw this. Go, oh, here's a tier 2. You take that.
I think you would discard till you came to the appropriate
you
one.
Discard till you got the appropriate
And
one.
when that deck runs out, I think you'd shuffle it back in.
I think the rules say you shuffle when they're all have gone through. So that way you get the boss guys.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Which makes sense.
I have the Evil Priest. It's a
12.
It's a 12 combat rating. And it's 4 the well of
He
souls.
has 4 life.
No, that's his essence.
His essence.
His
Oh,
essence,
if you
Dracula.
kill it, he gets it. Yeah.
Because that comes in with, if Dracula,
Yeah.
if he has his well of souls, he can pull out that card and add its soul value to this combat rating to
Yeah.
help fight us. So
Now, if I had been close to you, we could have had some synergy, but we just
Yeah.
ran off. Hey, we start with 3 life. Uh-oh.
that reminded me.
We got to start with 3 life. There we go.
So right now my combat rating is 5, 6. So if I want to do the thing, I just put it here at 5, 6. So just a minute. That's what they're for. These aren't that. Okay. All right. So there is no way I can beat a 13 at this point. See, if she was synergy, she'd get close, and I wouldn't have enough. So combat simple, I lose. If you can't meet or beat their armor rating or attack rating, you lose. So I would lose 1 heart point, and then this enemy is discarded. Now, if I had defeated it, it would have gone over to Dracula's pile, and he would have a well of souls that he can play his attack ratings out of.
Yep.
So now, since this was an event that ended my turn, and we go back around, and it's to Dracula.
And you don't want to transmute anything?
No, because I like my item.
Your item. Okay. So now it's going to be Dracula's turn. And one thing I didn't show you earlier, there's a nice little turn order for Dracula. And I hope, I know they're reproducing the rule book. This would be also in the rule book, but it's a little handout too. It's kind of, I think I would want to laminate this probably. I like the game. I mean, it's a fun game. It's just we're learning it. All right, so Dracula, first thing Dracula's going to do is gain an essence. So I'm going to go up on this little bat track to one essence. Then I place a Dracula room tile, which, you know, again, we're behind the mirror here. Gallery's gonna make them have to do an attack, and they can't see what I'm putting out, the players. Infirmary was good for the players, so no, I'm not gonna do that. And the grand staircase is the one I want to hide from them, because that's how they get up here to my keep and defeat me. So, sacrifice chamber, well, what does that do?
Yeah.
That's a pentagram. I'm gonna do that.
Okay. And you play it, and Dracula plays his cards face down.
So I'm going to pop this right in front of Jess Wesson. She has no idea what I've just done to her. Or maybe I'm going to put it over here, and she's going to be like, am I curious? Do I want to go check it out, or do I keep going my own path? You know, they don't know what I just put out. But I'm going to play that face down. And now I have one essence, so I could actually build my first room here. And I can look at these. This one says when playing a monster, they have names of the rooms. So this is the Demon Well. I think I read this one earlier. When placing a monster and in combat, you can get its attributes. It costs an essence. I could also, these are the hall cards, the square ones. Alchemy Lab. Alchemy Lab. Place a trap card, but it costs 2 essence, and I only have 1. Oh, no, it costs 2 essence to play the trap, but it cost me 1 to put it out, so I might want to do that, because I would love to play some trap cards. And then the last option I have for that shape is the Arcane Engine. The Arcane Engine, draw or place a Dracula castle tile, and it costs me an essence. So if I play this one, I could draw more of these, which would delay me running out of cards and putting out the grand staircase. So as a strategy, this Arcane Engine would be a good option, because I don't have to put it out. All right, so I'm gonna say spent my essence, boom. These 2 are still an option over here, and I can keep them like this so nobody sees, and I know what they are, and I can check them out. Next thing on Dracula, use the castle keep room abilities. Let's see, I built a room, use the castle keep room abilities. So now that I've put this out, I built my room, now I can draw a card. So I'm going to draw this gold card. And again, I do this in secret as Dracula. Nobody knows what I'm drawing. And I drew the chapel, which is just in one way, but it's a dead end. So if I wanted to shuffle, you know, kind of herd players a certain way, this would be a great one. So, and it also, again, delays me putting out the main staircase and keeps them from coming after me. So it's a good one. Shadows would move next, but they don't come out until my 4th turn. So that's the end of Dracula. And we'll do another couple of rounds just so you can see the playthrough. All right, now it's Jess's turn again, and she is insanely curious, and she wants to see what's here. So she pops over to this Dracula room. Oh, no. First thing she does is draw a card. Sorry. She drew the Outsmart card. This trap activates the next time a legend, which we looked it up, legend is Dracula or Cthulhu. So anytime you see legend, insert the name Dracula if you're playing Dracula's Curse, and Cthulhu if you're playing the Cthulhu's Curse
The
edition.
Cthulhu's an add-on to it. We haven't tried it yet, so.
But that's what legend is.
Yes.
This trap activates the next time a legend spends essence. They must spend an additional essence to complete whatever the action was. If they cannot, refund any essence spent -1. So they would lose their essence basically, because it says -1. So if I set this trap, Dracula doesn't know I set it. When it's Dracula's turn, if Dracula gains that essence and is like, oh, I'm going to put out one of these cards, I could say, nope, here's a trap. And they would not only not get to lose the card, they would also lose the essence. All right. So it's a great card, but I'm wanting to get blood tokens to buy this, so I'm gonna get a blood point.
She transmuted the card.
Oh, but I can't do that till the end of my turn. Sorry. So I'm gonna hang on to it, retcon that. That's gonna be the end of my turn. We'll leave it there. Now I drew my card. Now I'm gonna move over here and see what this is. All right. Oh, what did I get? Look, it's got a pentagram on it. The sacrifice chamber. And it's not a dead end. I'm going to place it this way because we decided like I wouldn't want to make a dead end if I could go forward. So we've made a house rule. There's 2 gold doors. If I turn it any other way, I cause a dead end. So I'm going to do it this way.
Okay. With the sacrifice chamber, since it's a pentagram room, has a symbol that you go into, we'll pull the out this. And it's Dracula's rooms on one side, the other tile rooms on the other. But for this one, the sacrifice chamber, if you choose, you may trade 1 life for 2 blood points. So if you want blood points, you can lose a life.
Ooh, that's tempting. I'm going to do it. I'm going to sacrifice that. Can you hand me 2 blood points, please? I probably should keep a few over here. We 3D printed these nice little trays so we could just pour the components back. All right, so now that's why you wait till the end of your turn, right? Mm-hmm. So now it's the end of my turn. Since I did that, I'm gonna set this trap. I'm not gonna sell that because now I've got the 3 points I need to buy one of these.
So you can do that because you didn't do any number of actions this
I'm
turn.
setting this trap.
Now you could also buy your skill too.
Oh, I can?
Yeah, because you can do as many actions as you want.
Ooh, okay. And purchase a subclass. Purchase it for 3, so I'm good. All right, so I'm gonna purchase, if I purchase this one, Doctor, for 1 blood point, I can escape a combat, or I can give somebody an adrenaline shot that gives me or synergy a +1. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna play that Doctor one. My other ones, this one gives me +5 in combat, but I have to spend an essence. I'll have to spend essence there too. And this one's passive. Maybe I want to do this one. This one is Scientist. Doctor of Science. All spells are at a plus, I think that's a 2. So if I happen to draw a spell, I would get a +2. But since there's only 7 in that deck, that Surgeon one's pretty good. Bone Saw. Spend 1 essence to get a plus. What is that? But anyway, I'm going to do that one. I decided to change my mind. I'm going to do that one. Alright, so I've spent these little points. And again, these are a little fiddly. I'm just going to move them down here. Alright. And I set the trap for Dracula. And that's the end of me. It's your turn.
Okay. So, since that was the one you had to stop moving, the way these ended up, I've got 5 movement, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, because the cards are in the way for this purpose. So I'll go here, so I'll flip over a new one. It's the barracks. There's no icons on it, so I can continue. I've got 1 more movement left.
And one thing to see how he placed it, where those line up, there's a door here. This is a blocked room. It said in the rules, if there's no door, this is just a dead end.
There are abilities in the game that allow you to pass their walls. So now I brought out the ballroom, but it is a cursed event. So I have to draw a curse. Hellgate. Bloodspawn, 13 armor. So basically a combat comes out. So it's an armor rate, it's a combat. It's got some flavor text. It's got a combat rating of 13 and combat. Well, I'm not in good shape. So I've got 5, 6. I forgot to draw my card at the beginning too.
Oh, you did.
So I will go ahead and retcon. I drew this card.
I looked those up. That's mind, speed, and force.
Force, okay. Wrecking Ball. Create a permanent passage between 2 unconnected adjacent rooms. We can show you that here in a minute. So.
But you could have drawn a different one.
Yeah.
You could have discarded. I mean, if you were going to draw it, we're going to pretend like that's what you're going to draw.
Yeah.
It's not because you just drew a curse.
Charge. You may increase your attack rating by 3. So that would give me 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Still not enough. But
so I wouldn't spend it. I'd save it.
Yeah, so I'd save it. So it's pretty much the end of my turn. I lose this one because I die. So it goes back here, and I lose 1 heart. But one thing I was going to tell you, I read the rules last night. There's staircase icons you could put here, and that makes these 2 rooms adjacent.
I saw those. I didn't know what those were.
That's how Wrecking Ball came in.
Yeah, those. Do you have them over there? Or
They're
here?
the little round ones.
Yeah, so he could have that adjacent room. If he'd played that, that would connect the rooms. It's got a little stair.
And they're color coded per room. You can also, like, if you have a room here, and it's like you can't go, you could place one here and
There's
attach to
red,
another one that you go to.
And there's blue in here, so you get the idea of the gameplay. And again, this isn't going to be a complete playthrough. I think we're just trying to show you the board and the mechanics, and then we'll do a full playthrough. I think a full playthrough is going to be about, it's going to take about 4 hours, I bet, with us learning it. But we'll show you Dracula in the shadows. How about?
Sure. Let's go ahead.
Are you done with your turn?
Yes.
Van.
So let's assume it's turn 4 now. You'd pull out.
Which we'd have more rooms out, so the players would have.
I'll just throw some out there.
Yeah. So Dracula's turn. He's going to gain an essence. He's going to place a Dracula room tile. And in this case, Dracula is going to herd her. He's going to put this chapel here so she can't get out. Then, because that's that dead end I had. And then he's going to build, well, he built that room, yeah. I could spend my essence as Dracula. I could say, oh, I'm going to spend 1 essence to put out this room. And then Jess would say, no, you're not. She had this trap earlier, outsmart. So she would play this, and Dracula couldn't put out the room. Instead, he would lose the essence and couldn't put out the room. So that was a great trap, and now it's gone. It's sprung. So that would be Dracula's turn, and now we're retconning and pretending like we're on turn 4. Now he could put out the shadows.
The grand staircase would have to come out as well.
Well, no, not necessarily, because he could be, since he got it. Technically, it would, except that I bought the arcane engine, and so I could have been spending essence to buy more cards. And so by using the arcane engine, you can delay putting out the grand staircase as a strategy. So that's why I put out the dead end room. But good point. If you didn't buy that, you would be putting out the grand staircase.
I'm going to give you 2 more cards.
Okay. And now we're putting out the shadows. And I'm just double checking putting out the shadows. Okay, Dracula shadows. Once you've played your 4... Okay, so that's where you got that from. Once you have played your 4 Dracula starting rooms, this can be delayed. Okay, it's in the rules. Page 6 right here, John. Once you've played your 4 starting Dracula rooms, this can be delayed with the arcane engine keep room. All right. On your following turn, you will place the shadows. So I would have to have played all 4 original cards. So probably I'd want to keep, like I just played the one I bought with the arcane engine. So I would have had to have played that one and not bought any more and played all of my original cards, because see how I delayed it because I bought 1 extra. So we would be into round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if I'd bought more cards, 6, you know, whatever, pretend like I didn't buy any more. I would have been into round 5, and it says on the following turn you put out the shadows. So in this game, the way we're playing it, it would have been turn 6, but we want to show you the shadows. So I'm just clarifying. I'm not trying to be sassy. I'm just trying to clarify the rules, because we always try to get it right. You know, a brand new playthrough like this on a brand new game. So once we've played all 4 of those rooms, then the shadows come out. So the shadows, we got 4, and again, they can't see the bottoms. This one's good for me. I want them, what they're going to do is these players are going to explore rooms with shadows, and when they do, they're going to see this, just Dracula. But when they explore that room, let's just say I herded her. She can only go here or here. So she's going to, even if she goes into here, this is going to flip and it's a dead end. So she's going to have to leave and run into the shadow. All right, so whenever that happens, when she goes in the room with the shadow, it's going to flip and I'm going to get an essence, because that's the picture like John was saying earlier. So that's really good for Dracula. Now this is the one I don't want them to find, because then Dracula loses a life when they find this one. So this one is probably going to be the one I'm going to put as far away as I can. Can he play in this main corridor?
Yes, he has to be. He can't be adjacent to a Slayer, so this one's actually incorrect. It'd have to be. Like
Oh,
here.
it can't be adjacent to a Slayer.
And
oh,
shadows
sorry.
have to be at least one
away.
one
Okay.
away.
So I could place this one here, that one there.
Yeah, it had to be. It can't be adjacent to another shadow.
Even if there's a door.
It's adjacent to this shadow.
Oh, so I don't even have enough room to put these out, really. That's probably another reason it waits till 4.
Here and here would work. Well, no.
Okay, so
We'll just throw another room out there.
I mean, we would have, and like I said, we're speeding it up because we're just doing an overview. So yeah, that's not orthogonal. Yeah, that's diagonal, not orthogonal. All right, so that would work. So with that said, again, Dracula would put those out, and just to show you a few more things. So let's just say on her turn, she went and moved into the room. As soon as she does, the shadow gets activated first. Her turn order ends, and then this shadow would go back to Dracula's castle, and Dracula would get this essence right here. And then if she had more movement, she would keep moving because she encountered the shadow. I think she can keep moving, right?
Yes.
So even though she encounters a shadow, now if she had done combat, now, and that may be one of those rules we have to clarify because that's not spelled out in here, but it does say that when a Slayer, this is again on 6, when a Slayer enters a room with Dracula's shadow, they must investigate first, as shadows always take precedence over every other event. During investigation, the shadow icon underneath is revealed and the event is carried out. The event is indicated by the icon on the back, and again, this one would give that would give the player a blood token. No, not curse. A curse. Okay, here they are. So the combat, the player has to discard the first combat card on top, then draw and fight the next. Curse, the player draws a curse card. Essence, the teeth, Dracula gains an essence, and the last one, Dracula loses a life. So, yeah. That's the one where he loses the life. That would be the one where they would have to do combat, which they don't know that. So, so again, it's in the player's interests to go ahead and discover these because Dracula gets to move these once per turn. So then the one that's the Dracula shadow, he can move up to 2. So these only move 1. This one moves up to 2. So if I'm playing Dracula, I have to remember. But then if the players see me move that 2, that's going to be a clue to them, right?
But you can also stack they also stack. These become, say, like this one. If here it can move 2 now, I believe. So that way you could stack how them together, and it also becomes more powerful to fight because you have to conflict it. Now here's just explaining this part of it. Say like these 2 have been defeated. They were over here. Those cannot come back out. But say J.S. Weston got over here and she defeated Dracula. So, oh no,
he lost a life.
So it goes back to here. His life points. Oops, goes away. Sorry. Then now here's the trick. Then Jess did her stuff. Van did his turn. Then it comes back to Dracula. Dracula can now, since he got sent back to his keep, he can come back out with all his shadows. Like so.
When we found that one, did his other one go out?
Nope, it stays there.
It stayed. Okay,
It stays.
gotcha.
So,
Okay.
but now one of those is Dracula again, and we don't know which one. So it kind of
Right.
continues the process. It's how we weakening, but as he stacks up, he becomes more powerful and harder to fight.
And when we do our playthrough, our full playthrough with 4 players, I think we're going to explore more of the castle. We're going to see more what happens in the underground crossroads and the underground component, what happens in those, if they're better, worse, or the same as the main floor. And then we'll see some of the upstairs rooms. And so it says the play continues until either we defeat the fully stacked, all 4 stacked Dracula, or we make it upstairs
to his
tower here, and we fight him here. And then any of the monsters that we defeated over here, he gets to add to
His attack rating.
And here it shows, depending on how many life he has a higher attack rating. So like 1 life token, 15, 2, 16, 3, 17, for 18, and then if he has 5 life tokens, he has 30, and then he also gets that can you flip a monster card and show him anything in his soul well in that corner, like John was saying earlier? That's upside down there. It's got that 3, so he would get to add 3 to his for that harpy to his attack rating, because he would have been putting those over here. So as we kill monsters, that gives us blood points, but it also gives him souls.
Yes.
So anyway, he can use to fight us, so he gets more powerful. So I can't wait to do the full playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking this game. I mean, the rules were a little, not, I would call them just a lot of clarification.
Yes.
So we combined this with the fact sheet, and we do have 2 questions into the developer, and then we just said we're going to put in a 3rd one
Which
for the
I'll say,
underground.
I've looked online at Board Game Geek. He's responded to every question I've seen out there. So
he's done a great job.
He's done a good job. I'll give him that.
And he's republishing a new combined, I think, rules.
Rulebook 2.0, which I don't know if it'll be a PDF, print, or what, but I think once you piece together, it's actually a really good mechanical sound game.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful game, and I love it. You know, Halloween's coming up.
Yeah.
I always like the dark goth look, and it's a pretty board. And then, you know, and if you aren't of a certain age, maybe these colors and these fonts would be okay. For us, we struggled a little bit. They're a little tiny, like I said, but that would really be my only criticism. I mean, I'm excited to play it and see it. And I think it is going to be a longer game, but with 4 of us, because we're learning it, but with 4 of us, I think it would, the optimal players, I think it would go a lot quicker.
We did a run through. We think we've got the rules pretty solid.
Yeah.
So when we do the playthrough tonight, it should go quicker.
Yep. And then these cards we did not talk about. These are the ones, when I go to 0 life and I flip and I become a vampire, my card flips, any abilities I've purchased flip, and I believe I can still... I don't know if I can still purchase abilities after a flip. I'll have to look that up. But at that time, I have to draw one of these. And when I do, I get a secret subclass.
It's a vampire quest card.
Thank you. A secret vampire quest. Sorry, I just spitting out terms. Make a pact with another player, including Dracula, to form an independent team. If the player accepts... if no player accepts my pact, so I guess this would be like, let's go talk in another room, and you would talk to each one, and you would decide if you're going to form a pact with a player. If nobody will form a pact with you, then you become solo, and you must personally defeat Dracula or die. Some of the other ones, you have to ally. This one you join the Slayers, so you're trying to help the Slayers. And then some of them you're joining Dracula, like this one. So those are what those are. I just we didn't talk about that day.
Yeah. That becomes a trader mechanic, essentially. Where you can either, I think most, like 60% or 70% join Dracula. Others become independent, others join the Slayers. So they've got their own rules.
And these are Dracula's traps. Essence Eater, Nightmare Realm, what does that do? If they enter the Nightmare Realm, all monsters gain a +2. So these are traps that, depending on certain criteria, just like I did that one outsmart, and when the next time Dracula spent essence, this one, like Wicked Infusion, this trap will activate the next time essence is drawn for a card or a room, and that Dracula will gain 4 essence instead of just 1. So this one gives him extra essence. So those would be Dracula's traps. And then I think the only other cards we haven't talked about were, we didn't look at any of the upstairs or downstairs cards, but I think they're similar.
They're
to
just the same.
Main floor, They just have different rooms and different things happen. So.
Yeah, and also probably, if this is well received, I'll run through the dojo rules as a single player.
Yeah.
Just to see how that goes, because I haven't read those at all. And I'm actually kind of curious.
There is one thing we did not talk about. There's some more rare ones. Let me find one where the icon is white. And that means that I had that poison room.
Yeah, we're talking about it being optional.
But
they're optional. The way we never explained that, actually. Like, say I flipped over a coin and it had like this one. Fun one's got like a fist, or
I bet it's Dracula's cards.
Ain't not any of them.
Well, We can't find one to save our life.
And we're getting
Like the poisoned corridor was the one I found. Okay, here's one. This one, poison garden. Okay, in the poison garden, that little icon is white. That means I have to spend one of these force cards to defeat it. So if I don't have any force cards and I enter this room, I automatically lose a life in this poison garden because I can't overcome this.
No, sorry, that one's optional. You would
No, remember though, it wasn't. We looked it up.
Well, it depends
The
on...
poison garden wasn't optional.
Poison garden's not optional, yes.
Some of them are optional and you could defeat it to gain a boon, like a life, a blood point or something. But this particular one, so if that had been the mind and I had a mind, I could defeat it and get a +1 blood or whatever it says. And the rules to it were they in this set or
They're
the
in
fact?
this set.
They're in that set, okay.
Yeah, poison garden, basically it said force.
Yeah.
So you had to do it.
So every time you went in it, every time you entered this room, and I was backed into a corner, and I kept having to go in this room, so I lost a life. So my next turn, after I flipped this, because it was hidden from me, the next turn I had to draw one of these to go back in it, and then because it was white, it was going to hit every time I went in. Well, once you defeated it time,
there's an X token you can put on it.
This little X on it covering it to say that has been defeated and now everybody can safely enter the poison garden. But until then, every time somebody entered that room, they would have to spend a force card or take 1 life damage. So I was going to get killed by running through this room.
And I just remembered one rule we forgot. Say like if you pull out like this one, in the upper right you see a gold boot.
Yep.
Basically what that means is you have to discard a card that had speed. If you're on the front side, you can also see the icon there. So I would have to discard this, and I'd be fine. And that only affects me that 1 turn. But if I didn't have one of these cards, say like if I didn't have this, then I would lose 1 hit point.
Yep.
So
1 life. So those are pretty powerful too. I think that's all of it. I think we've covered the basic mechanics of the game. We talked about Dracula, we talked about the player board, we talked about the individual players, and we kind of gave you our opinions on the game so far.
We'll do a full review as well.
Yeah.
But it's a good game. I like.
Yeah.
But we'll do a playthrough, and then we'll give a full review of what we think, what we would change, and
we've been taking notes so that we can give you
a good solid review.
And we'll do our full playthrough and post that and let you know when we get that done. But hopefully this helps you if you've got the game or you haven't played it yet. Hopefully this helped you get started and enjoy Dracula's Curse. Thank you for joining Fellowship of Games and like and subscribe.